school of life. He is here talking about stuff, and whatever's going on in his brain, you know it is 100% Bridget!
All right, here I am. It's me talking about something. How y'all doing today, or tomorrow, or whatever day you're listening today? Whatever day you're listening today, just listen to me. Not being too bright today. Well, anyway, I got something to say, of course, and this is what it's going to be like today. This past couple of weeks has been kind of nice. I've been kind of a little more pumped up than usual, which is kind of good, and I've been getting around my house a lot better. My knees are feeling good, and doing some extra little exercises here and there, so it's really helping out. And so, want to thank God for that kind of stuff. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, make sure to like, share, and ring the bell, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And here we go. So today, talking about stuff, I'm gonna look at a words, or actually a phrase that's been going around. No matter what, if you watch TV, if you watch the news, if you listen to a commercial, we're gonna hear this terminology. The challenging times we are living in. How many of you guys have heard that one, right? So these are the challenging times that we're living in. 2020 is a challenging time. COVID-19 is a challenging time. Well, I believe that when things get challenging is when we're supposed to step up. We're supposed to step outside of the normal anyway in our everyday lives. And I'm pretty sure we've all heard this phrase before: life begins at the end of your comfort zone. What exactly does that mean? Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Life is basically, it's more fun when there is risk involved, right? Now, I'm pretty sure some of us might have been teenagers at some point, and we probably did some things that we weren't allowed to do or shouldn't have done, or something to that nature, where within ourselves, the risk is what made it exciting. We stayed out too late, especially if you're in my generation, where, we were supposed to be in when the street lights came on. We were outside riding bicycles, jumping off of like 2x4s and things like that with our bicycles, doing all kinds of drinking from a hose, doing all that kind of stuff. And we didn't realize we didn't even know there was a risk involved. And now all of a sudden, you can't drink from a hose. You have to wear 5 helmets. You got to wear 6,000 knee pads and elbow pads and things like that when you ride a bike. And we didn't have any of that stuff. We just went out and went for it. And pretty much every day, just coming home from school was an adventure. And so that's really what the end of your comfort zone is, where life begins, where there's risk happening. So right now, if you take that word, in the challenging times we are living in, if you take that term, well, turn it into a thing that we can go after and do something and build ourselves up within this time frame that is supposedly challenging. When we leave our comfort zone, our risk or challenge is always before us. When you step outside of what your normal, that's the other words, the new normal. Well, step outside your normal and go do something that's challenging. And if outside your comfort zone is where challenge is. Outside your comfort zone, there was always challenge before us, and some of us don't want to challenge ourselves. We've stopped challenging ourselves. We've stopped doing those things. And like sometimes we call it adulting. Well, I'm just going to go to work. I'm going to get my paycheck. I'm going to pay my bills. And then there's some of us that go, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to get my paycheck. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do more businesses, and I'm going to buy a quad, and I'm going to jump off of dirt, and I'm going to do this kind of stuff just because there's risk involved in that, and that gives you fun and joy in your life, right? Watch this. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 8 in the New King James Version. Verse 5 starts, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones." Look at this. When you're not in your understanding, when you're following God's understanding, when you allow him to do stuff in your life, it brings health and flesh and strength to your bones. It brings health to your flesh. Leaving your comfort zone is actually trusting God, especially in these challenging times, right? these challenging times, you really got to trust God. You have to be outside your comfort zone just to leave your house in some cases. I know some people that just, they won't leave. You know, they're like, I'm going to stay inside. Now you got to go to the grocery store, you know, except for if you get you got to get your milk from somewhere that they don't do milk delivery yet again. Well, they used to a long time ago. I'm pretty sure that'll come back soon. You know, I mean, I guess, you know, some of those shopping cart businesses can bring you your milk if it's within a time frame. I wouldn't want my milk in a hot car for 2 hours if they're doing multiple deliveries, if you ask me. So you got to leave your comfort zone just to get milk delivered to your house, right? It's getting away from our own understanding. That's what leaving your comfort zone is. It's getting away from your own understanding and stepping in and acknowledging God in everything that we do. But most of all, I'm going to say this again. Most of all, look at verse 8. Verse 8, it will be health to your flesh, your fresh baby. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Man, stepping out and getting into an area that you're unfamiliar with helps heal your body. Look at that. Stepping out into something new actually helps heal your body, because you have to strengthen your mind in that. You have to strengthen your body in that. You have to have more breath in that. You know, when we're being challenged, we're being energized. We're being what's the word? Exercise. We're building our strength. We're being strengthened mentally and physically. We become more alive with what we are outside our comfort zones. So I think that's kind of interesting. Here's something that Paul told Timothy. He said, therefore I remind you to stir up the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. So Paul's going to lay hands on Timothy, and then he says this, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. God has not given us a spirit of fear. And he told Timothy to stir up the gifts within you. He's about to step into ministry. Timothy's about to step out and be one of the youngest pastors of his time. And he's about to go out there and do some awesome stuff and hang out with Paul and do all that. And so Paul's going, you got to stir up that gift inside. You got to stir up that thing that's inside of you, that Jesus that's in you, that God that's in you, that so that you can go out there, the spiritual gifts. You get those things stirred up inside of you so that you can go out and function in these challenging times. When we get comfortable, we get stagnant. Now, I know over the past 3 to 4 months, whatever it's been now that we've been supposedly on lockdown, if you live here in California, there's more traffic now than there was before this started. So think about this for a minute. So you might have gotten stagnant. You may have started eating wrong. You may have started doing these kinds of things. You may have just, sit on the couch more, Netflix and chill more, whatever it is that you stopped doing stuff. Have you ever seen stagnant water? It gets nasty. Stagnant water is gross. Stagnant water is disgusting because all the little bugs and all the little stuff start to form inside there, and bleh, right? And when we get comfortable, we get stagnant. We get tired. And we choose not to do things. We actually stop doing stuff. We stop going to the store. We stop trying to ride a bike. We stop getting on the motorcycle and going out for a ride. We stop doing those kinds of things. It's something that's weird, and that's what we do, but when you're outside, when you get yourself to that point where I'm going to get up, I'm going to do something, I'm going to move, I'm not going to move in my understanding, I'm not going to follow what the news says, I'm not going to live in that fear, I'm going to stir up the gifts that are within me, I'm going to go outside of this place, and I'm going to see something great happen. And you can do it for yourself if you want to, you can do it for God if you want to, you can do it for your best friend if you want to, because he might need your help, because this is in this challenging times. There's a lot more suicides going on because they're inside the house doing nothing. Depression is rising up. All these things are rising up, and you know what? People need God in this moment and in this time. So you might be the outlet, but if you're too scared, if you're too furred, if you're too worried to get outside of your comfort zone, to get out there and communicate with these people, you might want to stop and think for a minute. You have to lay aside the things of this world and receive the things that God has for you, to step out of your comfort zone and to get into the adventure that God has for you. That's the biggest thing. This whole God thing, no matter how you look at it, it's a great adventure. Every time we do something for God, it's something new. Every time we do something for God, we go, man, I've prayed for people before, but you still have to step outside of your comfort zone, especially if you're inside the grocery store, right? Or if you wanted to hold somebody's hand and pray for them, if you wanted to do something like that, that would definitely be outside your comfort zone. If you're going to go touch $5,000 worth of cash, that might be outside your comfort zone, but you might be okay with it. When Jesus talks to his disciples, he always says the coolest stuff. Watch this. And when we read the things he said to them, it is that same command to us, because we are his disciples to this day. And something Jesus says in John 15 is interesting, because we tend to follow our friends into the craziest things. So I think I have John 15 in here somewhere. There it is. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Don't forget to go out and love other people. And if that's outside your comfort zone, deal with it. You might have to stretch a little bit. I remember one time a pastor told me, put a rubber band on, and whenever you have to stretch yourself, hit that thing and get that little ping on your wrist, and you go, oh man, I'm outside my comfort zone. But that's where life is. Life, when you step out into a risk, and sometimes doing things for God is a risk. And I know even in these challenging times, the risk is me doing this podcast talking about Jesus right now. Church is opening up anyway, no matter what. We're like, you know what? I'm going to just have church. Forget it. Let's follow all the guidelines. Let's do things right. But I'm still going to have church. I'm going to open up my building because it's 500 flipping degrees outside in Southern California. And especially where I live at, you might want to be better off with church inside so people don't die from the heat. Come on, So that might be outside your pastor's comfort zone, and he's in a challenging time right now. So make sure to pray for your pastors, because they have to deal with all this stuff, OSHA, all these kinds of things to keep the place clean, and they're doing that for you, and that's outside their comfort zone. So we have to really be able to say, hey, I want my joy to be full. And how do I get my joy full? I believe that God's going to take me to another level. I believe that God's going to take you to another level, and that's going to be outside your comfort zone. Jesus will lead you into the greatest adventure of your life. He will push you into the greatest places of your life. He will do all kinds of craziness for you. You just got to be willing to kind of get outside that comfort zone. And I don't care what the times are, the challenging times, because we should be doing these kinds of things anyway, getting outside of our comfort zone, talking to people, loving people, and just being out there for them. So that's really much what I got to say today, and I probably pushed it out there kind of quick, but that's all right. So, hey, guess what? If if you don't have a church to go to, you can go to generationschurch.tv. We have multiple campuses all over Southern California right now, and the other side of the world in Myanmar, and we are doing online services. So if your church is all shut up or whatever, feel free to go to generationschurch.tv, and you'll find directions there to get online. And if you do go to church and your church is open up, make sure to get there. If you don't have a home church, check us out. I don't do this for them. This is not, like I said, I plug them because I love my church, and that's where I go, and not because they pay me or ask me to. So I'm just putting that out there. And one more thing, get there. If your church is open, get there and support that ministry. Get there, show that you are outside your comfort zone and getting inside that building. And basically that's about it. So life outside your comfort zone is the great adventure. And during these challenging times, do something different, get out, do something great. Ride on, ride on.